Yo, yo.
Hey,
Hey, I'm streaming live. I'm testing it out. Somebody can go on my page and just check to make sure.
Okay.
All right, I'm shutting this one off.
you're live.
Okay. What the hell is that noise?
That's me. Hold on, I'm shutting it off. I think. All right. So,
Okay, can you see my screen?
I'm gonna go check. Oh.
Yeah, you just did a screen share. I see it.
All right, now tell me if you can hear the audio at all. Okay?
Okay.
Try and qualify everything we've spoken of today. By that I mean, when I go fishing,
I cannot hear the audio.
You can't hear the audio at all?
Nope.
Shit. I can hear it perfectly. Hold on.
Take a hook. In fact, I don't like fishing. I like catching. Really, I haven't got the patience to fish. I want to catch. I want to see souls soundly saved.
I don't know how to.
I really like.
Okay, wait, you said you can hear it now?
No, I was saying I don't know how to resolve that.
Oh, damn.
Oh, I can.
Have you Google searched a solution?
No, man, that would take like hours. It literally probably would.
Yeah, probably. What's the guy saying? Or yeah, let's see. Is there a way to put subtitles and maybe to articulate the core point? Well, yeah, let's put subtitles on and read the subtitles as he's speaking to get across the point that you wanted to illustrate with the video.
Oh, closed captioning.
How do you do that?
You click the gear on the bottom right corner, sort of.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the closed captioning. It doesn't have captions. Oh.
Damn it.
Oh.
What the fuck are you doing? Excuse me. I just get really
rude in speech.
Oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious. I completely lost the screen now. Okay.
It's bad.
It really sucks. Hold on. Speakers, microphone. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, can you hear this?
Or to say it philosophically.
What should it sound like? Music?
Yeah.
No.
No.
What is going on? All right, well, I guess that was a complete failure.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's learning to find a solution.
Yeah.
Well, what was inside the videos that you wanted to show us?
Well, this is just a test live stream, so I don't think anyone's going to be watching. So, but this is
Well,
real.
wait a minute. 4
people watching.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, what's up? Thanks for showing up. We're
I'm watching.
having technical difficulties right now, trying to figure out how to play videos where everyone can hear the volume, but I have no idea how to do it because I've never done this before. All right, so real quick, just the gist of that video was, it was basically...
Show them the name of the video.
Okay. Okay, the video was called God Doesn't Believe in Atheists. And you can find it as soon as I can find where the hell all my... You gotta be kidding me.
Boxer, do you want to say hello and identify yourself?
Yes, Boxer, please.
Hey, fans of O Timothy, my name's Kyrie Billingsley, or my handle is Flat Earth Boxer. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm originally from Chicago, but I've been living in Phoenix/Tempe for the past 13 years, 14, a while, more than a decade. I like flat earthing and Muay Thai, and that's pretty much, those are my two interests. And so I just put those two things together, and that's my moniker as a result.
Awesome.
Sweet. Cool, yeah.
My favorite activity to go to the campus and do that stuff, because that's where people get the most triggered. I kind of get off on that a little bit, but
Yeah. And long walks on the beach.
What's up?
And you like long walks on the beach. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
do.
Who doesn't? Well, I really like Marilyn when she went out on those campuses. She was really killing it out there.
These ladies.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been really meaning to get up to like one of the Florida state colleges and do that too, because you really did inspire me with all those videos you did, Marilyn, on the college campuses.
Awesome.
Yeah, you want to speak a little about that, your experience with that, and just whatever.
Any public, I'm getting a lot of feedback. Okay, any public college, and you can just go on the computer and say public colleges within, I don't know, 20 miles, and you'll get a whole list. And any community college is a public college, and there are other colleges that are public. There are some that are private, and you cannot go on their campus. But the public ones, you are allowed to be on their campuses. I always call security when I pull in the parking lot, and I say, I am here, and I'm going to be setting up, and I just wanted to give you a call to let you know I was here. And they said, oh, well, good. Thank you for calling, and we'll tell you where the best place is. Now, the one college I went to, they steered me wrong. And so I did not set up where they said to. So I went and I found out where the kids were walking the most, and I set up there. So I don't think they were happy.
Do you think that they steered you wrong intentionally?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes.
Sneaky snake.
But they are not all that way.
Okay.
So you just have to be wise. Harmless as doves and wise as serpents.
Amen to that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we kind of ran into the same thing when Karen set up the science fair thing that we originally were going to have a booth in and everything, but then they ran it past their board members, obviously, and decided obviously they didn't want flat earthers crashing their little science fair. So they then told us that, yeah, it'll be okay if you go to the outskirts of the event, and as long as you're not bothering anyone, then who cares, right? So it's kind of what they told you, Marilyn. They're like, yeah, we got a spot picked out for you. It's where no one can see you. But yeah, as long as you don't bother anyone, we'll be fine. But then obviously that only lasted for about 5 minutes. We literally were just setting up, not talking or telling anybody the earth was flat or anything. And
I think I saw the video. It was across the way.
Yeah, you can check out Science Fair Flat Smacked on my channel if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, within 5 minutes of setting up the tables and everything, we were kicked out by the police. So obviously setting up on the outskirts was not even okay, apparently. So, but yeah, actually I had an idea. Marilyn or Boxer, I'm going to send you the link to that video. And then you could just, you know, show it on your screen. How about that? Is that a good idea?
Marilyn can do that. They're on mobile right now.
Oh, okay.
Well, let me see if I can rearrange this. Okay.
I was just going to send you the link real quick. And I wish I could change the name of the live stream from test to, to something that'll get actually people to watch, but whatever.
It's just the first time doing this, so.
Yeah.
Learning curve. You can change that.
Yeah, if anyone knows why every time I try to change the volume, it mutes the Hangout for some stupid reason. I'm pretty good with computers, or at least I used to be. But obviously these things, you know, are evolving so quickly now that if you knew everything yesterday, you wouldn't know everything today. So, but yeah, I'm gonna just share this link in the Hangout. Marilyn, I don't know if you can copy and paste off this, or does it have to be in the actual Hangout? Okay, I'll just put it in the Hangout. All right, I sent it, and it's 55:25 is the timestamp.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
All right, well, I'll just tell people the gist of what he was saying. If I can.
You'll get people come around, they'll nibble, they'll chat with you.
Can you check the Hangout and see if the people in the Hangout and chat, Marilyn, can hear this?
Free fish. Always remember to hide the hook of God's So in conclusion, let me try and qualify everything we've spoken of today. By that I mean, when I go fishing, I always take a hook. In fact, I don't like
actually check the.
Really, I haven't got the patience to fish. I want to catch. I want to see souls soundly saved. I really like reaping more than gardening. I have a garden. I just want to reap and eat.
Barely hear it? Okay, Brian can barely hear it.
I'd be kind of brainless to go fishing.
Okay.
Okay, put the bait on, bring it out, watch the fish nibble, see the fish smile, and watch the fat fish go away. I've forgotten something, the hook. And what we've been talking about in apologetical arguments is bait. We have touched on a lot of political arguments, that is the existence of bait.
Oh,
If you stay
I can hear it.
Apologetical argument,
Yeah.
you are
But it's low.
bait and no hook. What
Damn
you'll
it.
do is you'll get people come around, they'll nibble, they'll chat with you, they'll have an intellectual discussion, and they'll go away fat, happy, free fish.
Oh.
Always remember to hide the hook of God's law under the bait. You get people coming around nibbling. Then once you've talked to them in the realm of the intellect,
Okay.
bring conviction using God's law.
All right, so I'll just sum it up then, I guess, instead of trying to do all this crap. But let me get this back up so everyone can see.
well,
Okay. Okay. Can you guys see me right now?
I can't.
I can hear and see.
Okay, good. All right. Well, the gist of what that guy was saying, it's a guy named Ray Comfort. He does some street evangelism, street preaching, and he brings up a really good point about going fishing. Now, this is for us as much as it is for anyone out there in the chat. When you go fishing, if you don't go fishing with a hook, you might get some people interested, but you're not going to catch anything. You're not going to catch any fish. You might, you know what I mean? So his whole thing is we have to put the hook in people. And that, you know, it sounds a little weird to say, but it's like we have to convict people that they don't know everything and that they don't know for sure why it's a globe or that it is a globe or that it's flat or whatever. So, I don't know, I was just spitballing ideas with Marilyn earlier. But yeah, she said, well, my idea was to say, you know, can you give me your 2 best proofs you live on a globe? And that would kind of be the hook. You know, the whole idea being that if we're just presenting information to people, it's almost like we're just giving them free food. And that's fine, that's okay. And, you know, it might plant the seed, but I feel like the hook is kind of like, you know, really, instead of putting the seed on top of the soil, it's like putting the seed, you know, a couple inches down underneath the soil. It's like you got to put that hook in and kind of really convict people to understand that they don't know why they believe it's a globe, and
You have to get them to fully identify.
What? Say that again. You broke up.
You have to get them to experience and fully identify with their dissonance and feel responsibility for their thoughts.
Yes, exactly. Like you want to drive that cognitive dissonance home.
Like if you say water is always flat and level, there's no evidence the earth spins, blah, 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 blah. It's like all that's information that they can either accept or reject, and they don't have to interact with it. They can just go, okay, well, this person that I'm listening to has a coherent worldview. But that's his world until you force them to have to break apart their world to address the evidence themselves. They can just go, oh, interesting museum exhibit, and continue onward, and no growth happen, no cracks happen. There's no glitches in the matrix in that person's mind.
Right.
Yeah, and
Timothy.
Yeah.
How many things do you have open there? Do you have a phone on? Do you have your computer on? I was trying to get rid of all this feedback.
Oh.
If you have that on, it's still going to pick it up because I had to shut my phone all the way off.
I turned my volume down, so maybe that'll help.
Yeah, turn your volume down too, oh Timothy, and maybe that will help too.
Okay, is that better?
Well, yeah, it's still there, but I'm still getting like feedback from and like double voicing and whatnot.
Can you hear me? Oh, crap. Hello? Hello, I lost you guys again. Yeah. It's that same stupid problem from before, Marilyn. Every time I click this button, it mutes me. Now. No, I can't hear you. This is unreal. Hello. Hello? Look. Oh, there we go. I got it.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay.
Realm Walker said, turn the YouTube. Are you watching the chat?
It's open, but I'm not watching it, but yeah.
Okay. Make sure the volume is off on that.
On the chat, okay.
On that chat window, yeah.
The volume.
That might. Yeah, that would be like under the video, under the.
No, it's just it's just the stream preview, the control room. I mean, it's the control.
Oh, because we're on there. We are on there.
All right.
It's the live.
All right, Realm Walker saying he can't hear anyone else but me now.
Oh, can Tim not? Can hear Tim, not everyone else. Oh no.
What about now? Realm Walker, can you hear everyone now? Say something, guys.
Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. I can hear Boxer and you. I can hear everybody. Hello, hello. There was something.
Yeah, I can hear you guys fine. I just don't think that they can.
I hear you, Marilyn. Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, do we all hear each other?
All right.
Or no?
Okay, I think we can.
Okay, cool.
All right. So, what was happening was Ray Comfort was saying that it's okay to plant seeds, but he likes to reap the harvest sometimes too. And when I'm out on the boardwalk or whatever, there's often times you don't have the time. If you have a group of people in front of you, you often don't have the time to put the hook in. All you have is time to plant the seed and then just maybe answer a question or two. But if you do have the time to talk to somebody, yes, you can ask them a really personal question, like I gave the example of this guy I was talking to like 2 weeks ago. And I said to him, well, from this moment on, you cannot walk away and say to anybody that you believe in the globe. Because now I told you about the flat earth. And it is your responsibility. And he said he was a Christian. And in the Bible, it says we are supposed to study to show thyself approved.
Right.
And we are supposed to seek truth.
Prove all things.
Right.
Hold fast to that which is good.
If he is a Christian, he cannot, from this day forward, walk away and tell everybody that we live on a globe when I just told him that we live on a flat earth. So it's his responsibility to look all this up. Yeah. So I would say that that's a hook.
Yeah, you make a great point. By making the hook something personal, that's the best approach. It's offensive. I said it's aggressive, but not offensive. You want to keep it aggressive, but not offensive. So aggressive, obviously, is something that, you're trying to reach somebody on a more personal level, so that they'll kind of, because we interact with strangers all the time, right? And we always kind of communicate with strangers or people we don't really know on like a surface kind of level, where it's like we don't open up ourselves and that person doesn't open up themselves. So there's no real kind of like communication going on deeper than, how's the weather or whatever. So you make a really
just don't do that, bro.
Yeah,
they've never opened up at that level. They've never that top, like, how should I put it? Like, some people just don't think about that thing and are just happy and have always been happy and have been told that they should be happy just to have their job at Walgreens, buy their sneakers, and go see a movie and repeat that cycle until they get a mortgage or whatever. So asking people to go there at all, whether you know them or not, it's just heavy.
Yeah,
it is very heavy.
People are definitely not used to opening up at all. But I'm not as far as necessarily talking about conspiracies. I'm talking about just opening up in general. Like, you know, sometimes you'll get in like some random weird situations where you're in like a waiting room somewhere and you ask somebody to pass the magazine and all of a sudden they open up and tell you their life story, right? So there can be situations like that. So I think we're kind of like more or less trying to find that approach to like kind of really get in on a personal level with somebody as quickly as possible, because like you said, we really do only have like what 3 seconds, I guess, to kind of pique their interest and to get them to stop. Some people just keep walking no matter what. You could tell them the world's ending and it's happening right over there. Just look, and they'll be like, no thanks. They'll just keep walking. So but I find that when I go out and do activism, most people are open-minded. Most people, I'm not saying all. I'd say it's the majority, though. That majority of people. I don't know if it's just like the certain types of people I run into, or if it's just living down south or wherever, depending on where you.
I was going to say that. But I was going to say maybe it's the south.
Yeah, like Southern hospitality. People really are like a lot more God-fearing and compassionate. Not that they're not up north, and please don't get me wrong if you live up north, because I used to live in New York too. So I definitely know what it's like to living up in New York, especially, keeping up with the Joneses and everything. But yeah, there could be something to that. The South has there's some Southern hospitality that when you just try to get this information to put it in somebody's hands, they're more likely to take it down south because there's a lot more God-fearing, Bible Belt kind of believing Christians down here who, I don't know, who would more or less, even if they're not interested in the topic, would just take the thing just to be courteous.
Right.
But yeah, we're trying to obviously get the hook in people and trying to leave them, kind of reeling. We want them to we want their head to be spinning 1,000 miles an hour, as they walk away. So I'm just trying to come up with some ideas and ways to do that. And I've experimented with, can you give me your 2 best proofs you live on a globe? One guy ran away the last time in Jacksonville. We were at 5 Points, and this guy started running away. I'm like, you can't run from the truth the rest of your life. He's like, yes, I can. And and I said, can you give me your 2 best proofs you live on a globe? And he just started running away. So yeah, that was the hook, but he wasn't biting. So yeah, I mean, just come up with some other ideas and just spitball some other ideas as far as like my whole spiel or shtick is, hey, NASA's been caught using green screens and harnesses. Just to kind of get people interested and be like, what did you say? So, and I know everyone has their own approach, and that's totally fine. Like you sent that video in the Hangout before, that George guy or whatever, the guy from the UK, or is he in Africa or something? That guy? You're mute, Marilyn.
George who?
I don't think it was George. It was, let me see.
Howard?
Howard, yeah. You want to share that link with people and just get them interested in checking that out?
There is a new guy from Spain.
Spain, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good too.
Okay, the channel name is Howard George Stirrup.
Stirrup, right.
Stirrup, Stirrup. He's been doing some really great flat smacking over in Spain, you said, right? Spain?
Yes.
And Howard, if you're watching, because he just subscribed to me, we'd love to have you on, man, because we definitely, we like to vet people here. And anyone who's out there on the streets doing activism is good in my book. So yeah, if you're in the chat, I don't know if he's in the chat, probably not, but yeah, we're always looking for more street warriors to get on here. So yeah, the topic is putting the hook in somebody, or going fishing.
Yes. Ray Comfort was saying that you don't go fishing and put the bait on the end of the string and just let the fish eat it and swim away. You give them something that's going to really stick with them, and that's the hook he was talking about. So they have to stay and be challenged, or you know, let it really sink in. That's what this is all about, is having that message sink in and get into them, so it doesn't just leave them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try this. Can you guys hear this? Read this.
Hey, I don't like fishing. I like catching.
Yes.
Really, I haven't got the patience to fish. I want to catch. I want to see souls soundly saved. I really like reaping more than sowing. I do. I like eating more than gardening.
Can you hear it well?
I just want to reap and eat.
Okay.
But when I go fishing, I always make sure I take a hook. I'd be kind of brainless to go fishing with bait on the end of string. Okay, put the bait on, fling it out, watch the fish nibble, see the fish smile, and watch the fat fish go away. I've forgotten something, the hook. And what we've been talking about in apologetical arguments is bait. We have touched on a lot of apologetical argument, that is the existence of God, etc. If you stay in the realm of apologetical argument, you are fishing with bait and no hook. What you'll do is you'll get people come around, they'll nibble, they'll chat with you, they'll have an intellectual discussion, and they'll go away fat, happy, free fish. Always remember to hide the hook of God's law under the bait. You get people coming around nibbling. Then once you've talked to them in the realm of the intellect, pull the hook of the law into their jaw. Bring conviction.
Oops.
God's law. Because if you're able to convince an atheist of God's existence, all you've done is convince him of something he already knew in the first place. Because God has given light to every man. If you're able to convince someone the Bible's the Word of God, so what? The devil knows that. Unless they repent, they'll perish. They must receive a knowledge of sin, brought to a point of godly sorrow, which works repentance unto life. So that thought of mine, let's just close in prayer.
Yeah, so...
Father, we pray that you'll help us to remember we trust.
Fat fish. Free fish. You're letting them go. You're letting them go. So, guys, don't let them go. You know what I mean? Try to put the hook in them. And if you want to check that out, you could... God doesn't believe in atheists. Living Waters is his YouTube channel. Living Waters. Make sure you subscribe to Living Waters. This guy does amazing street evangelism. And yeah, just get you guys' opinions.
Yeah, that definitely clarifies what you can, like what this basically what the activism has to do with Yah or God. And without that, if they leave with just maybe the Earth is flat. You never know. We could live in a simulation. It's like, okay, well, anytime someone says that, hey man, could be a simulation, I feel like it just makes me want to throw my banners on the ground and whatever.
I give up. It's a simulation. Go ahead.
So, and for those people, the delusion is so strong with them that, I mean, anyway. So like, so in order to get the larger point across at times, when I feel that the conversation's about to come to a close, and I feel that tension where it's like, okay, I got to get my last words in. We got to hurry this up. I make it clear, like, especially if they have children, I say, okay, well, if they're already open-minded and hearing this and they're stimulated, it's like, all right, well, what that means is if the Earth is flat, it means the Bible is true on the first page. Okay.
Amen.
And that means that if it's true on the first page about the Earth being flat, then pretty much every other book in your library, which is probably an underlying premise of the setting or the philosophy guiding it, is that the Earth is a ball going around the sun for no reason. All those books are wrong from the first page to the last page. So you have only one book in your library that's true at all, at least on the first page. And so I'd consider that. And if this is a simulation or reality construct or whatever, that creator has made this reality with rules. And when there's rules to a game, there's winning and there's losing. And the consequences to losing in this game is that you die and then you die again, and that's it. And you know, you have responsibilities, and your children are those responsibilities at least. And if you don't want your children to die and die again, and then have lives with no substance along the way, then you should probably not open them up to this sort of information. But if you care about them, you need to figure this out.
Right. That's an excellent hook, brother, man. You make a really good point. Your kids. And Marilyn, you say it all the time too. Like, they're lying to kids. This is why it matters. This is why it's important. So that's a great hook that we can use out there. Is like, you know, and I know you do. And I'm gonna start doing that more often. Is like, listen, man, you got kids. You know, they're lying to your kids, man. They're teaching them lies. Is that okay? Is that cool? Are you just gonna walk away? You're just gonna wait? And I feel like you made a great point. But a lot of people, at the end, when they're trying to get their last word in, they're not really listening to what you're saying. They're just waiting for their turn to speak. And so you got to, like, really grip them with what you say. You know, you kind of, like, shake them, you know, and, like, mention bringing up their kids and, like, you know, the future and that second death and everything. That's like a huge hook. That's like a, whoa, gotcha. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I also say, if they will lie to us about the earth, then they will also lie about the reason that we are going to war. And they're packing up all of our healthy young men and shipping them overseas to get killed for no reason. So, I mean, you have to give them some reason to really look into this, and that, you know, somebody they love, or and who doesn't know somebody in the military? I mean, everybody knows somebody. So you have to figure out some way to make them really think, pause and think about it.
Yeah, because you know, we've had a kind of a little tension in the group behind the scenes with you know, people not necessarily agreeing on, you know, Jesus Christ, Yeshua, however you want to say his name. You know, oh, I read this new book and it's telling me that Jesus is a myth and blah blah blah, and I'm really kind of just buying hook, line, and sinker. You know, hook, line, and sinker into every single thing that it says because I have no biblical foundation and truth. And that's another reason why this is so important, guys, is because without a foundation, we're lost. And the foundation is, you know, the shape of the earth and where we live and who we are and why we're here. And if they can lie to us about that, they got us by the balls. You know, and then also it's like, what does it matter if, like, okay, yeah, they're lying to us, but if figuring out who the creator is, not just, okay, there's a creator, maybe, and, you know, I've never seen him and I've never really, you know, had any kind of mystical kind of experiences in my life where I felt the existence of him. So therefore, he must just be this impersonal God, this deistic kind of idea that he created the whole universe and then just kind of stepped away and just let everything play out the way it was going to play out and everything. And that's a real slippery slope to, like, Satanism and just thinking that anything is okay. And, all right, well, God obviously doesn't care. He's, you know, he just lets us run amok. So let me just be all about myself and selfish gain. And none of that works. Like, yeah, my whole 20s was all about trying to make it as a writer, because I loved writing and poetry growing up in, like, my early 20s. The first time I tripped out on mushrooms is when I actually started writing poetry. Not that I don't condone mushrooms anymore, guys, because I've been to hell and back, and that's a gateway right to hell. So I'm not damning anyone that does it, because it's fine, whatever. We all, you know, have our.
I neither condone and
You need a what?
I neither condone nor I don't advise anyone to. I've done it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it now.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So done that, got it.
Yeah, been there, done that. So my whole 20s was about, like, trying to make my mark in the world and trying to make it big or write the next big book or, you know, just, you know, and I think that was like for everybody in whatever career or talent that they had. you know, whether it was music or writing or, you know, anything, we all tried to pursue that, you know, for most of our adult lives, and found that there was no fulfillment in it, really. I mean, there is to an extent where you're actively creating something and you're putting, you know, your, you know, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it, whatever, that's good. But at the end of the day, you're not taking any of it with you, man. Life is literally like a wisp of smoke in the air. It's like it's here today and gone tomorrow. So none of that really matters in the end, guys. It's like eternity is like literally forever, and life is literally a fleeting, transient wisp of smoke in the air. So it's like, what's the purpose? What's the reason, right? Why are we all here? And I know that there's a creator, but yet I don't really care to get to want to know him. And I understand why. It's the same reason that I didn't for so long, is because I was so comfortable in my sins that I couldn't recognize myself without them. It's like, I don't even know who I am without, you know, the weed smoking and the poetry and the writing and this and that, and then kind of being the pseudo intellectual, kind of thinking I'm so smart because I'm reading all these books or whatever. So it's like, none of that matters. It's like it literally doesn't matter. Only thing that really matters is finding out who the creator actually is. Once you find out that the earth is flat and that there has to be a God, right? The creation testifies to the creator. A painting implies a painter, right? Right. So who is this painter now? Who is this creator? Who is this designer to the universe, you know? And then you go and look in the Bible and see that, you know, it supports the flat earth and everything else, and, you know, biblical prophecy has, you know, been coming true for thousands of years and all that. And you can then look at the fact that the Bible, the original Bible, not including the Apocrypha texts, is over 66 books written by 40 different authors over 1,500 years. And it all says the same thing, guys. It's all pointing towards the fact that, you know, God, he gave us paradise at first, right? And he gave us a choice, because God doesn't want us being blind robot slaves who just blindly worship him, right? He wants true love. He wants real love, which means it has to be a choice, right? So he gave us paradise and he gave us a choice, and we messed it up, right? And that's the whole story. That's the story of history right there. That's over and over again. It's just us messing things up. So we get to this point now where it's all this information is coming out, and it's like they've externalized the hierarchy now. They're trying to like initiate people into, you know, alchemy and hermetic philosophy and Satanism and the occult and everything like that. So that was another big thing with me in my early 20s, is I was obsessed with this secret knowledge that I thought, you know, like that if I, you know, dug deep enough, I would find out, you know, what the real truth was about God, and I would, you know, have this special knowledge that would allow me to evolve into God. This whole apotheosis, right? This whole base metals into gold kind of thing.
Wow.
Alchemy, right? That's what they tell us. Alchemy is just transmuting base metals into gold, but it's really all about transmuting the human mind into God. And that's literally what alchemy strives to do. And that's literally what the satanic occult philosophy, everything to do with it, is all, that's what it's talking about. It's talking about evolving yourself into becoming like a god, or to evolving back into the source of God or whatever. So it's all nonsense.
So it's like brainwashing yourself.
Yeah, it's like dangling a carrot on a stick in front of your face your whole life.
Wow.
And that's like literally the whole lie of all of human history is about this carrot on this stick, right? And we're coming now to like this omega point where it's all like coming to a head now, this like apex moment in history, this singularity moment, right? Where we supposedly are going to be able to merge our consciousness with computers and live forever inside this virtual reality, augmented matrix-like world, right? Where we can all be
the black box.
Exactly, yeah. Jupiter and beyond, right? Or whatever the whole ending sequence was, where he went through that, you know, all that psychedelic stuff. And then he found himself in that room at the end, and he watched his whole life, play out in like seconds or whatever. And that's that whole occult philosophy is that they're brainwashing everybody with, with even when it comes to like little children, when it comes like Sabrina the Teenage Witch or the Harry Potter, right? Or all these other things that, oh, I love Harry Potter, man. I read all 6 books or 7 books or whatever. And it's like, but, I have no idea, how fast they say the earth is spinning or, why I believe anything I believe. So,
I think there was fiction.
Think there was what?
You think circulating?
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
Say it again, Boxer. You're breaking up.
Okay, you're good now. I can hear you.
Do you think that in the biblical times?
Damn it! Kicked out again.
Because I'm thinking, like, as you were talking about all these stories, I was thinking about, and you mentioned the Bible's composed of 66 books, 40 authors, all writing about things that they all claim and believe to be real. These aren't like hypotheticals. These are
metaphor
plausibilities. These are some of it's poetry, sure, songs and so on. It's worship and praise and so on and so forth. But it's about factual things taken to be understood to be fact. There's nothing written for the sake of pure contrivance.
Right.
And back in those days, if you wanted to write something down and circulate it, you had to write it by hand and it had to be worthwhile enough for someone else to rewrite it and so on and so forth. And what they were writing was the story of reality, which is, as you're describing it, that's just a fact. It's the most epic storyline and narrative situation from the fall to the resurrection and so on and so forth. The way all this is working out is like, it's the most epic story ever told. But when you have exposure to all these different fictional stories, you have your Harry Potters, you have exposure to Jules Verne, you have exposure to technology saving humanity, you have exposure to entire meaningless apocalypse scenarios, horror stories, whatever, Hero Saves America, whatever the story is, you have access to all these stories that you get used to of various genres, and then these all eclipse the biblical story, the story of the reality in which we inhabit, and make it just, while simultaneously sucking all the meaning out of reality, it makes the real story just unacceptable. It's just too much, because the stories that we're used to consuming are nothing like the story that we live, and they're nothing like the Bible. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, because maybe it's like we're so conditioned to all these fantastical science fiction stories and everything. Then we look at the Bible and be like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Where's my Star Wars? You mean there's no distant galaxies? No thanks. No alien pansexuals or whatever.
Everything matters in this.
Yeah.
Look, I think that. Is he talking? I can't hear him.
No, you cut out for a second, Boxer. Say again.
Oh, I was just adding on to that character. I just did my make as a substance and I have to take the responsibility of my existence in a real way.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, right. Yeah, but also they use the same story arc too. It's the whole hero's journey, right? And that's what they've been brainwashing us with, this whole hero's journey. And it's literally in every single movie, literally every single movie, doesn't matter what genre it is, follows the same story arc. And it's for a reason, guys. And like you said, just like you mentioned, Boxer, it's to get us interested in that kind of narrative and not what the Bible is saying. So now we're living in this fantasy world where we think we're the hero, and we think that we're going through this whole solipsistic kind of our life is a movie kind of thing. You know what I mean? And you've ever had that feeling, right? Like you feel like your life is a movie. Everyone does, right? Right. But they're conditioning us to feel like that through Hollywood and this whole story arc of the hero's journey. And it's completely antecedent to what the Bible is all about. I mean, the hero, you can look at Jesus as the hero, but I mean, he was in the beginning, he was the hero. He was the creator since the beginning. So there's no,
You know, we have been lied to about our history. So if you put the Bible in the context of the real history, which we are just now finding out some things, like about Tartaria and the mud floods and the advanced civilization that we really came from. I think people would think there's a lot more interesting things in the Bible, because right now they're they're thinking mud huts, and that's it. And there was no technology, there was no intelligence. It was like caveman, back in that day, when really, all of the Greek mythology is really true. There was hybrids. There was half man, half beast of many types of animals. There was a lot of intelligence. I think there was telepathic communication. There was advanced weaponry. I think we could fly, not like with wings, but on like
Vimanas. You have the story of the Vimanas from the ancient Ayurvedic texts, talking about how there were spaceships way back in the day, and there was nuclear wars or whatever going on. I forgot.
I think there was all of that stuff. So if you put the Bible in the context of that, it makes it far more interesting.
Yeah, and that would be classified as the antediluvian or pre-flood world. And that's the reason why God had to come and wipe it out, is not because he's a jealous, egomaniacal maniac. It's because Satan literally and his fallen angels had corrupted mankind so much that we only had evil thoughts in our mind continuously, as it says. And, obviously the fallen angels were experimenting with DNA manipulation, creating these hybrid. I think they probably created the dinosaurs, possibly. And then the flood wiped out the dinosaurs along with all their other abominations that they had created. And that's the reason why God destroyed the world, not because he hates humanity, because he likes watching us suffer. It's because his creation had literally become completely corrupted by Satan and his fallen angels. So that's important to remember too. And like you were saying, all these myths and legends of old, like all the pantheon of gods, they were all based on fallen angels. And when they ascended, when they were cast out of heaven to the earth and mated with women, they created these offspring Nephilim giants, these, the mighty men of old, right?
And the men of renown.
Right, and Gilgamesh is Horus in Egyptian, and he's someone else, Zoroaster, and another whatever, and that's where you get the whole confusion with, Jesus was just an historical figure like all these other ones. You get that whole zeitgeist lie. But that the zeitgeist has been completely debunked, and that guy who wrote that documentary is a Freemason, and he's trying to push a one world order. So people need to do a little more research into that. The Zeitgeist Lie, if you haven't watched that, or I highly recommend you watch out What's Wrong with Zeitgeist. And, also Lee Strobel, The Case for Christ. There's a lot of people out there who have, tried to debunk Christianity, and they became Christians in the process. So, there could be so much more that they're not telling us, and obviously the Bible even talks about as well in the non-canonized texts, the book of Enoch and Jasher, I think, and the other one. They get into more of the fallen angel, technology and just everything that was going on with them in those times. And to me, that makes a lot of sense. Is like, you get all these legends of like Medusa and the Titans and all these things that, it's like every single civilization had their own version of all these legends. And it makes sense when you look at the Tower of Babel, how that was like the nexus point, or like the point in which everything changed, right? And then as soon as God scattered all the languages, he scattered all the tongues and everything. And that created each individual civilization and each individual, part of the earth. And they all had the same story, just in different languages, different names for, Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz, that whole ancient mystery Babylon of religion. So, and then you go fast forward all the way to today, and then you get the Knights Templar, and you get the Vatican, and you get the Jesuits and the Jews and the Freemasons. They're all carrying on that tradition, that carrot on a stick from the Garden of Eden, is that we will be like gods as long as we just, keep messing everything up. I don't know.
Daniel's dream.
Yeah.
Daniel's interpretation of was a Nebuchadnezzar's dream, I think.
Yes.
There's a description of a sort of thermodynamic principle in which chaos always, order system tends toward chaos. Things don't become more orderly over time; they become less good over. They develop downwards. So
right, entropy.
The first great empire was Babylon with the head of gold, and it went silver, then bronze, and so on until it became iron and clay. And the pre-flood world, as Marilyn was describing these things that exist in the pre-flood world, and things like flying, free electricity, large bombs, advanced weaponry, telepathy, all these things exist today. They're just kind of retarded. Like we have telepathy, we just text each other. Like if we're in a room with 5 people, and we were talking about a topic, and then 2 people just started intermittently laughing about something that made no sense to the other 3, we just go, oh, these people are engaging in telepathy. Whereas right now, we just go 2 people, there's a conversation of 6 people, and 2 people are texting, and admittedly, it's like, oh, these guys are doing that, and they're in their own little world. Or with flying, well, we have airplanes that run in water or something, whatever the hell is going on. We have the electricity just comes from the sky. We have these idols, these giants, these celebrities that are gender inverted and androgyne creatures. I guess we worship giants in the NBA. We already have this thing in the pre-flood world. It's just like a retarded version.
Yeah,
That's what I'm thinking is the case.
You make a good point, but the only thing I disagree with is that I think we're way less connected with all that. Obviously it's exactly what you're saying, in a more retarded way, but I don't even think so much. I think we've lost that spiritual connection so much is that we can't even begin to imagine how we would telepathically communicate with somebody outside of having text messages or whatever. So I hear what you're saying, but I feel like we're so disconnected from the spiritual realm. We're all now about materialism, so
that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. If I could telepathically communicate with those people at the bar, it would be a waste of time because who cares what they're thinking? Like what they're thinking.
Right.
Ridiculous is what they would say.
Yeah, it's like television.
Yeah. And there's no guarantee that the people of the pre-flood world, while they're engaging in super spiritualized wickedness, there's no guarantee that the majority of them were actually pretty smart or pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, there were no available boats or craft that could survive a flood, oddly enough, except for those that were allotted to the tribe of Canaanite. I don't know what the deal is with that, but they must have been advanced. But it's strange that if they were that advanced, it's strange that there was only one boat that could survive water rising.
Well, none of them saw it coming. They didn't see it coming, so they didn't have time to build it. A boat that would, you know what I mean? Moses built the ark for 150 years, I think it took him.
Is there no boat that ever existed that can float? Well,
no, the problem with the Noah flood was that the fountains of the deep broke open, so you had these big water fountains like shooting way up high, and then the windows of heaven opened up and water came down too. So you had it coming from the top. So Noah's boat was like an enclosed coffin.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. it was not an open top boat. So who would have something like that? I mean, that's a special craft.
True, that would be the problem. Water would be getting on at the inside of the boat every true the water tank of the sky.
Yeah. And it was very turbulent, like a very big storm.
You make a really good point, though. It's like if they supposedly did have all this technology back then, like pyramid power, electricity, or power plants or whatever, pyramid power plants, and levitation and all these other telepathy and everything, then how did none of them survive the flood? Or better yet, how did the Nephilim survive to a second incursion after the flood? If the flood was to wipe out all the Nephilim and all the corruption, then how did the Tower of Babel get built after that? And how did the evil continue on into the post-flood world?
Well,
I think it's because, I'm sorry, let me just finish though. I think it's because whereas pre-flood, the angels or the spirits directly contacted and communicated with humans, now after the flood, they can still communicate with us, but it's only on a spiritual, in your mind kind of level, where they can influence our thoughts, but they can't manifest right in front of us anymore.
Well, I think they are here. We just don't recognize them.
Oh yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah.
Especially with all the fluoride and all the stuff they're putting in our food and all that stuff.
Oh, dude.
They're just weird looking, man. There's very weird looking people out there.
There has to.
I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There has to be somebody out there who can. Have you guys ever heard of the Lucifer telescope that the Vatican owns?
Yeah,
the binocular telescope.
Right.
One of the guys who runs that's coming to this Faith and Science conference out here in a week or so.
Oh no way, man! You gotta get that on video somehow. You gotta.
I'll do the best I can. Yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, anyway, so you know how they built that telescope, and the reason why they built the binocular telescope was not only to detect depth perception, because you need two lenses, two foci to detect three-dimensional depth, but the binocular telescope that they use has a lens that is not a concave lens, which most telescopes and lenses are concave. It uses a convex lens, meaning it bows inward, not outward. And this effect actually creates the ability for them, using this telescope, to see into the spirit world. It's crazy. Did you hear about these extrabiological entities that they're supposedly tracking now? And apparently that these biological entities, I forgot exactly what they're called, they're actually also doing surveillance on the human race as well, is what they found out from using this binocular Lucifer telescope. So here's what I'm thinking, guys. And this is where it all ties together. You know the They Live documentary with the glasses, right? The glasses allowed him to be able to see these aliens, whoever they were, these demons, in their true form. So what if They Live, the guy who made it, whoever wrote the script for it, right, was dropping a little Easter egg to say the way to see these demons or these Nephilim or whatever they are, these other people that are not human, what if the way to see them and actually detect them, and all spirits, is using simply a convex sunglasses, sunglasses with a convex lens on them? And I've actually been doing a little bit of research on this and trying to find convex lenses just to buy on eBay or Amazon or whatever. So I know as a community we can get this done, guys, because me as one person, I work full time, I'm lazy, some days I just don't want to do anything. I just want to sleep and relax, right? And we're all like that to an extent sometimes. But if we put our minds together, we can really find out a solution to this once and for all. Either yes, it does allow us to see into the spirit world or see things that we normally wouldn't be able to see, or no, it doesn't. So this is a really, really interesting topic of research for me, and it ties into everything. Just as far as, being able to see into the spirit world or see these entities with a convex lens. And maybe that's what They Live was all about. It was telling us how to be able to detect these things. I don't know.
I would really like to be able to do that, to see them, because I am so thick-headed when it comes to figuring out that people are not who they say they are. I am like naive and trusting, and I'm there, yeah, let's go do this or that, and they're really not, sincere. So I've had some trouble, like in the flat Earth community, trying to figure this out, and it's tough. It's tough with all this, the infiltrators, and we know there are infiltrators.
Yeah, it's hard to know who to trust. And one time somebody told me, I was at the conference, at the Flat Earth conference, and I didn't want to leave my stuff just lying around somewhere. And somebody said to me, "Oh, what's the big deal? You can trust them. You can trust us over, here. We're all friends. We're all," and it's like,
yeah.
No, it's like, no, listen, you don't understand. Where you grew up, maybe you could trust your neighbors, but where I grew up in New York, my mom instilled in me, trust no one. You know what I mean? And then, like, obviously you make friends or whatever, and you can use your own discernment whether or not you can trust somebody, or if they let you down in the past, or they've never let you down in the past. So yeah, we can build trust naturally by having relationships and interactions with people. But
you can't persuade me about you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And it's like, oh no, it's like, that's the problem. People don't trust enough. And it's like, no, I think it's the exact opposite. I think people trust way too much, and that's what allows these agents to come in and kind of steer the movement. And and it really is. It's so obvious that, and this is where I hate, because I listen. I don't like being a personality in this, like that's like a talking head that's saying all this crap about other people. I hate it. Absolutely hate it, and I don't want to completely stay away from that. But to me, lately, it seems to be so obvious that the whole mainstream flat Earth movement, and I'll just use that term, the mainstream flat Earth movement, is the Flat Earth Society 2.0. Completely, 100% from the start, from the jump. I'm talking like the person who claims to be the father of the modern day flat Earth movement. And I'm not going to use any names, but we all know who that is. And I texted him one time, and I was like, hey, there's a lot of... Yeah, pretty much. And I texted one of them one time, and I was like, how do you respond to all these allegations? And he flipped out, and he's like, I'm the one that started this movement. I'm the one that made it popular. I'm the one that this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, whoa, dude, like, seriously? Like, I mean, that's to be expected.
The way a non-show response to that, who is just a normal person who's been betrayed by his shit enough times.
Well, you probably should be suspicious of people.
And if someone wants to be suspicious, if someone has reason to be suspicious, they should. They should do that.
Right.
Like, who am I to tell someone to trust me?
Exactly.
And if you agree, then I guess let's work together. It's simple.
Yeah, see, that's why it's hard Sorry, you broke up for a second.
Someone, it's like, what reasonable person cares if someone they don't know doesn't trust them?
Right. Obviously.
You know who you are. Jan knows who you are.
Yeah.
You will trust me. You will trust me.
And it's so hard for like really trustworthy or genuine people inside this movement to find each other, is because we are so much like that, where we're not just so quick to trust, and we're, obviously very, suspicious, let's just say, for lack of a better word. So it's so hard for us to like find each other, because we're suspicious of anyone trying to just cozy up to us and be like, hey, let's do this and let's do that. And it's like, you know what I mean? So it's
The classes are they bearing fruit? Or are they telling the truth?
Yeah.
We'll know them by the fruit. Their classes. We couldn't even tell Jesus was up to some BS until we hit him. So, I mean, unless there's some tool or technology that's gonna give us discernment that not even the Messiah's VIP squad had. I think we just have scriptures to say we'll know them by their fruit and probably some other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's what you do. Basically, you don't trust anyone until you build trust with them, right? And also you look at their fruit. Just look at what they're saying. Look at, and it doesn't have to be like, if you don't agree with what they're saying, you don't want anything to do with them. It's just use your own discernment to say, what angle is this person, or is there an angle at all, or is it just all in your head?
Also said, Paul, no. It could be you or Paul. And Paul still got a job. The apostles did associate people that we don't want to associate with. And Paul did go, the apostles don't trust me because, trust me, I'm good now. He just said, okay, I get it. I'll do my work in the north. Maybe we can build trust later. Schillers don't respond that way.
Yeah, Schiller's...
Paul probably wasn't a Schill.
No. Saul was, not Paul, though. Same guy, but... Yeah. So it's hard for...
Even Saul was a Schill, he meant it.
No, it's good. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, but... No, but it's hard because, obviously, and it's just my opinion, and I think everyone has the same opinion at one point. It's like, man, like, I love everybody, these big flat earth channels. I love watching their content. They make good content or whatever. And maybe that's like, okay, activism, like Marilyn, I get it. Like, the way you were talking about it, like the other hangout, the last hangout was totally, I totally agree with. As far as, like, none of these big channels are doing crap when it comes to activism, but maybe their activism is doing what they do, just putting, but then a part of me disagrees with that and agrees with you and says, like, you can make videos till you're blue in the face. Like, it's not going to, like, wake up, that person on the street who's never going to see your videos because they're censoring the results now. So it seems like it's like this flat earth has just become this giant honeypot of drama and...
Hey, it all goes to this. How did you feel? Can you guys hear?
Yeah.
How did you guys feel when you first came to Christ? Didn't you just, your whole spirit was filled and you just had to go and tell everybody? Didn't you feel that way? I mean, didn't you feel like you had to go and be a witness? And that's the same thing it is with the flat earth. You know a very important truth about the Creator, and you have to go and tell people if it's true. I mean, if it's a true knowing, if it's true that you know the Creator through the flat earth, if it's a real knowing for you, then you can't help but want to tell other people. Because that is our mission here on the earth, is to tell. And so that's why I don't understand why these other video celebrities are not pushing this. Why it's not like top priority is to teach and get people trained up for activism. But they're not. They are not doing that. They're not interested in that. Even any corporation will tell you the most important thing is to treat your sales force very well and train them, because without them, you have nobody to buy your product. So,
not sales.
Do what? Say that again.
All they're into is marketing, not sales. All marketing, no sales.
I guess that's true,
They're into content creation. I don't know if that's marketing. I'm not a business I'm not a business major, but they're into content creation. Not even necessarily, because marketing implies that you're trying to reach demographics, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're just catering to demographics. Like Karen B caters to all the New Agers, and Jeranism caters to all the skeptical, whatever, people out there or whatever. Like just the people that call BS on everything. I guess Jaren kind of, caters to them. But you're right. It's like, honestly, and it doesn't make somebody a shill, right? It doesn't, just because they're not out promoting activism doesn't mean they're a shill, and we're not saying that. What I'm saying personally is that it's also because YouTube creates this whole, and social media in general creates this whole atmosphere of that you can be a celebrity and that you can you can be important and special because other people are watching you and this and that, and it goes to your head. And I'll speak personally because that's all I can do. When I first started out, there was like this weird high of a rush to know that other people were watching my hard work out there, and it definitely, it's like this little voice in your head, like whispering to you, check your recent view count, or check your latest video, or check this, or, keep an eye on, and it's like this whole, it creates this disgusting, materialistic, look at me, kind of, I'm a celebrity kind of mindset. Not in everybody, but I think it crosses everybody's mind at one point who does this. Is that, you know what I mean? Can I or should I be swept away with this whole idea that I'm this tiny little minuscule celebrity that has like 5 people watching them? Or should I just say, screw all that, I don't give a flying, poop how much, sorry, you can tell I used to curse like a sailor, and it's really hard for me to tone it down, but I'm trying. I'm working on that. But it's so easy. Should I get wrapped up in this, or should I just say, screw my view count? I don't care if nobody watches. I'm just putting it out there just to put it out there. And also filming myself in public for protection, obviously. And obviously you're demonstrating ways that you can help others do the same thing, right? So all those reasons are the reasons why that we should continue to do this. And all the other reasons that I talked about as far as the tiny little mini celebrity thing goes is a reason why I feel like a lot of these video channels are just not interested at all in activism, because they've already got their shtick. They have already got their weekly live stream thing going on, or they already got their schedule with their editing of their videos, and it becomes like this whole kind of ritual, this modern day ritual where we put something out there on the internet and we wait for it to make us famous, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like we wait for people to respond to it, and that is literally like, it's like an opiate, and it's like an addiction that you cannot play yourself into if you're out there trying to create content for other people to watch. So I just wanted to say that, and what your guys' thoughts on that was.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Like Marilyn, when you first started out, did you even have the slightest thought that it could possibly go to your head?
I was on a mission.
Yeah. Well, I was too, but then once you start the mission and you see all the positive feedback that you're getting from it, right? Like I said, I can only speak personally, and I can only ask people to be honest. But personally, there was this kind of this opiate kind of release where it was like, ooh, this feels good. I'm getting people watching me, and this and that, and it plays into us as human beings. Like every human wants to be appreciated, wants to feel like they have a purpose, wants to feel like they're doing something to make a difference, wants to feel like people are appreciate them or whatever. So I get it. I'm not saying that it's evil, and but it's something that we have to deal with as human beings.
A couple of weeks ago, some girl called me a legend.
He gets it. She gets it. Did you crack open a claw with you?
Yeah.
I said, what?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
See, and that's what and that's where these big channels are at. They think they're legends in their own mind. And yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. They have made a big difference in a lot of people's lives when it comes to their content, when it comes to information, when it comes to scientific research. A lot of us don't go out there and do our own scientific research. We watch an experiment recreated by somebody else, and then we use that and we put that in our arsenal, in our tool belt, and we say, hey, listen, this guy did this experiment, but we didn't do it. So yeah, I mean, it's something that the big channels are like, that's they've already made their movement, and like me personally, like I'm just starting out, so I haven't made my mark, but I don't. It's not about making the mark though. It's about just what you're doing, right? It's just about waking people up.
Right.
But I really do, because I'm saying this because I've felt it personally myself, is that these big channels are kind of just feeding their egos at this point, and not, and like I've kind of coined this term, truth-ertainment, where we're just mindlessly clicking conspiracy videos or any kind of interesting, the real story behind this or that kind of videos, and it becomes literally, and it's a lot better than turning on the TV, don't get me wrong, but it does become kind of just like mindless entertainment, truth-ertainment at one point. And that when I got to that point is when I actually did start creating videos and sharing my thoughts, and I had like 1 viewer, 2 viewers after a week, but it didn't matter because that was where I was. I had moved past that echo chamber point where I got sick of watching all the same truth-ertainment videos, and I just said, man, let me start making my own stuff, and let me start getting out there and putting on the full armor of God, and having courage in the Lord and strength in the Lord just to go out there and spread the message, and come hell or high water. So, but just to wrap it all up, the big channels are kind of in this, they're trapped, I feel like, and a lot of them don't know how to do activism, because a lot of us didn't know how to do it at first. It took people like Joshua Swift, aka Authentic Intent. It took people like Marilyn, and I know, Marilyn, you definitely inspired a lot of women out there to do it. Because, obviously if you're a woman watching a man doing it, you're not really relating to personally on a personal level. So yeah, you want to just speak to that maybe and kind of encourage women to kind of try and get out there a little more?
This again, and keep this in the forefront of everyone's mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully I'll get it figured out where I can play audio better on the stream so we can share more stuff. But thank you so much, Marilyn. You've been awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll catch you around. All right, Boxer, do you have anything else you wanted to add before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
Have you done any videos lately? I haven't seen anything new on your channel lately.
I've been doing a lot of activism lately, but taking the camera, I haven't had many new conversations or new places besides the mountain. And the mountain is a much slower traffic environment. So I've just been focusing on building a team of people more than I've been focusing on putting out video content. Like, for example, we have a team of about 5 people.
You guys can still talk. I'm gonna just drop off, but you guys can still talk.
Okay, bye.
Okay, good night.
Yeah.
So in terms of priorities, making more videos of activism right now isn't like disciplinary activism hasn't been my priority. It's been getting this team together in order to do unique actions, of which those will be videotaped in all likelihood once we get a process to get comfortable as a team. I think that is worthwhile. It's like you were mentioning with the shills. Can you mute?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
with the thing with the shills is that what you mentioned, like this constant putting out of content into a well that can't be filled, and it going only to the subscribers, which would only subscribe if they were already into the flat Earth, which is just masturbatory, and it's to gatekeep people into a little pen. And it's a natural behavior, and that's what it's behavior to create a production cycle and a news cycle and a content cycle. I used to work in marketing, and you have to pay people to do that. People don't just naturally do that. They need incentives to behave in that way, or you need a lot of time, and you don't have time, you need money, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So, anyways, like, that's not the goal right now. So my mission right now is to cause actual disruption. Not to say that flat Earth activism isn't causing disruptions, but it's more creating specific events than it is videotaping the activism and publishing it, because I'm not having any conversations that I haven't had already. It's the same people saying the same things. Oh, where's the edge? Oh, gravity. Oh, can you spin it? And I don't think I'd be contributing much to the ether by putting that out there.
Right, like work smarter, not harder, and obviously getting bored of just the same responses over and over again. And I get that, yeah. Well, I was thinking, what about how about this? You live in Arizona, right?
I do.
You know, the spring training is going on. And I think it's going on near me too, in Florida. I was thinking about getting out into the outfield, like on the bleachers, and then holding up a big sign right there. And as soon as anytime a home run gets hit or anything like that, or where they're showing the bleachers, you can have like a huge flat Earth sign kind of holding that out. Or like sometimes like the broadcasters do like interviews like in the stands or whatever, and you get to like pile around it and kind of be on TV just in the background. That would be a really cool place to do it, I think.
How much are spring training tickets typically?
I don't think they're much. I think they're like you can get the bleacher seats for like probably like $15-20.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that sort of thing would be squarely within the domain.
Yeah, you're not guaranteed to get on TV, obviously. Well, yeah, I think you kind of are, as long as a ball is going to get hit to the outfield. That's not, you know what I mean? So I think it's it would be better if it was like, those NFL kind of like broadcasts where they're on the side and all the fans are behind them screaming, woo! That would be the most ideal place to have like a flat Earth sign, or, we never went to the moon, or
I think that's interesting. I think that we never went to the moon thing is actually probably a better move in that scenario.
And
because,
and the Earth is flat.
Yeah, so so in that environment, people have already heard the flat Earth thing. They already know that somebody thinks the Earth is flat.
What environment?
At a baseball game, most people at baseball games know somebody thinks the Earth is flat. They might even imagine that 5 out of 600 people think the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
So I think the not going to the moon thing is much more liberating, or at least much more impactful, because
it's so obvious.
It's so obvious. It's much less taboo, and it's also much more. It's harder to write off. Like when Owen Benjamin started going off on the moon thing, his conservative peers still had to treat him with a degree of legitimacy as he argued those points. They couldn't just say flat earther. So whatever. He of course thinks he's moving. There's a lot of people that I think Owen's targeting a very specific demographic, that is people falling out of love with Trump conservatism and even neocon conservatism and all that. And those people right now, I think what they need is to see that they aren't alone. Like I was at a coffee shop
recently, and I stated a
simple economic fact to what looked like middle-class white people. And
in a history book. And like,
they were so relieved to hear that somebody thinks it's a bad idea to take money from productive people and give it to unproductive people who don't have the investment in the country and so on and so forth. They were like, oh, finally, and we're just able to talk for the first. This might be the first time in public in like in such a long time. And those people, but you have to get to that point where you're willing to say, yeah, okay, Zionism's evil before you can get to the flat Earth. I think, well, for most people, I think that's the case. So, in an event where it's just a general audience saying like the middleman is fake, I think that's powerful. The event that we have coming up is at the conference on faith and science, where a bunch of not even creationists, but Christian scientists and observant priests and clergy are all going to get together to pretend that there's something divine in their worldly speculative sciences, all of which are predicated on the heliocentric model. And there's like 5 of us, and we're all just going to act. Well, I might have to be outside because I'm actually barred from going into that particular building. But the other 3 or 4 will be asking questions that cannot, by definition, just can't be answered within the domain of the heliocentric model or within the domain of theological consistency. Like, can you provide a Bible verse that's a single Bible verse that supports the heliocentric model? Or the scientific questions like, how can you have a pressure system next to a vacuum without a barrier? And having that done 3 times for every single one of those so-called scientists and clergy, it just disrupts the flow of that entire operation and just blows a hole through its credibility and its claim to being Christian or its claim to being scientific. And getting that on film, I think, is powerful. Getting on film Noam Chomsky being brought up, a flat earth question being brought to Noam Chomsky, America's great leading useless philosopher. So there's that point in history. There's always going to be that search query. Noam Chomsky can't prove the Earth is a globe, and that's there. That's done. It's over with, and that's there forever. And so things like that.
Yeah, man, that's genius, dude. That really is. That's really awesome that you got that going on in your area. Man,
cracking open a claw.
Nice. Crushing it.
Legend. Oh, Marilyn's here. She's a legend.
Yeah, Marilyn, what's going on? Are you back, or are you just here to leave your mic on and cause an echo? Hello?
I think it's just a ghost.
That's weird, man.
Or it's M for Mason. It's the Masons. They're back. Oh, bro, Catholic priest. I saw a Catholic priest and a nun while I was eating a burrito today.
No way.
And I asked him, hey, Catholic priest. It's weird. You'd think you'd see more Catholic priests in the world. Or maybe see them in New York, but I don't see. There's Mexicans here. There should be Catholic priests everywhere, but there's no Catholic priests and nuns just out. But I saw one for the first time. It must have been years, man. And I was like, hey man, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, yeah. The sort of glad-handed politician hat to talk to strangers. Yeah. And he comes over and I'm like, hey man, have you heard of the firmament? He's like, oh yeah, firmament. Yeah, the arch of the sky. Yeah, the firmament. Yeah. And he's speaking in this way as if to indicate dome over and over and over again, and to imply that he knows that it's a dome, but no one who is uninitiated would know that it's a dome. And that gave the plausible deniability. And we ran through this cycle like 4 times in that 10-second period. Yeah, the arch of the sky, the sky. Like, so the dome, it's like, no, the sky.
Yeah, the solid dome.
So I say, wait, check this out. I pull up the phone, I Google it. Here's what happens when you Google firmament, and I can go down to the wiki article. It says it's conceived of a vast solid dome. Yeah, like, oh yeah, but we have knowledge now, and it's just so tongue in cheek. Like, but we have knowledge now, and it's like this sort of aggressive high frequency grating friendliness about pressing his hands on the table and arching his body over me, not over me yet, but over the table, as if to sort of try to impose his volume upon me.
His Catholicness,
yeah, bro.
His piety.
But we know that men lie. We know that scientists lie. We know that pastors lie, and even priests lie. So, the Bible, I showed it for everyone. I said, Psalms 19. This is the gravestone of the guy who founded NASA. I showed him. He's like, yeah, but now we know, thanks to that was poetry, and we're now saved from now. Thanks to the Messiah, we can now have thanks to Jesus. He says, thanks to Jesus, we can now have spiritual interpretation of Scripture. Which I said, okay, so if someone had come to any of the prophets prior to Jesus and said the earth, and told them the truth that the earth went around the sun, the prophets would have to deny it because the Messiah hadn't come yet. So is that what you're saying? You're saying that what Jesus did was come and then allow us to believe the heliocentric model and to save us from the deception of geocentrism posited in the Bible, in the Old Testament. He's like, yeah, you can see it that way. I'm like, yeah, I was just kind of blown away by this. Yeah, a little Mexican nun with him who was considerably younger, and I tried to say to her, like, yeah, you should look up firmament. Please look up firmament. Please look up firmament. Please. She's like, okay. She's just trying to like corral her away. Like, okay, come on, gotta go. So I don't know what the hell's with these people, man. And so whether he's a shill or a reptile or a Nephilim or
that's what I'm saying. Does the Catholic Church? You're saying does the Catholic Church know? Like, does any random bishop or priest?
Who knows these people? Some of these people, that'd be a lot of people who fucking know, man. Like a lot of people. It's a big George Carlin. It's a big club. It's a big club.
Yeah, huge club.
It's a huge club. And as far as shills go, and as far as people who get it, people who don't, or whatever, like there's two types of people in my mind, because I'm convinced that this is near the end, and if they get it, like apocalypse level, like y'all coming down, Messiah coming down, slashing people, whatever. That ain't what's coming. If it ain't that end coming soon, it's the collapse of the whole system, because it can't sustain 10% of the population in the earth is flat. Even if 1 in 10 and that's gonna happen. There's only two types of people, and those two types of people are people who die and people who aren't gonna die, and that's totally a choice. Like, when I do my activism, I think in terms of like, if someone sees my stuff and goes like there's nothing in me at all that makes me go, come back. I want to figure this out, because that person has made a choice, and this, and with Noah and so on and so forth. Noah, when Yah destroyed the world the first time, very few people made it out. Almost nobody made it out. Pretty much nobody made it out.
Right.
That's probably going to be how this works. Pretty much nobody's going to make it out. So the type of person, pretty much nobody's going to get this. And I accept that. But when somebody wants to give it away, it's like, bro, I'll take everything.
Yeah.
But if you're I give you one chance to be like, okay, engage in the topic with some integrity, but you can't do that. And then anyone who might be curious watching this in order to see what happens in the debate, I don't care, bro. Like, I'm just giving you the road to hang yourself, so that when you get up to the pearly gates and Yah's like, so why didn't you figure this out? And he's like, well, how could I have known? Well, I gave you those widely publicized book history. I made it 1,000 different languages. Braille. I made the earth flat. I put a flat earther on the street, giving free information. He was entertained.
Yeah, and that was your last chance.
What do you want, man? And the way I see it, my job is just to It's just to give the guy the opportunity to incriminate himself, or what's the word? Entrapment.
Yeah. It reminds me of that joke. You ever heard that joke where the guy is like a flood and he's on his roof and he's praying to God for help, and then a helicopter comes and he's like, nope, I'll wait for God, and then a boat comes, nope, I'll wait for God, and then he drowns and dies and meets God, and he goes, what the hell, God? Like, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. I sent a boat, a helicopter, and this.
I made the earth flat, and I gave you a guy telling you it was flat.
Yeah. And he was dead serious too, and you knew it when he was talking to you, because like that's another thing is people can tell genuinely, like generally I can, like, I don't know if it's just me or if it's just like some people, but like I can always tell if something, like most of the time, I'm not saying I've never been lied to and not known it, you know what I mean, but like if somebody's telling me something and they're like so convicted about it, you know what I mean, and like they say they've been researching it for 2 years and they're telling me not to believe me but to do your own research, you know, like these little flags, I call them green flags, you know, instead of red flags.
Selling you something, they're telling you something.
Right, yeah, right. So it's like anyone, and this goes back to all Mac's whole thing with NPCs. And are there just like robots, people that are like not actually conscious, but they're just put here for us as obstacles or whatever? And that's completely, that's mentally ill to think like that, I think, because that's solipsism. It's basically saying, you know, oh, the world is just existing inside of my head and it's all for me, right? And that's very egocentric and everything. But when you're up and when you're going to that guy on that street and you're saying, hey man, listen, I think you should listen to me. Like I'm serious. Like the earth is flat and you've been lied to your whole life, and not telling you to believe me, but to take a look at the info for yourself, please. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. Like eternity is on the balance here.
Hit me up afterwards. I want to talk. Contacts in the back.
Yeah. And I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like
that's the kind of person who would have killed Christ.
Yeah.
That's the exact kind of person. That's the exact kind of attitude that led to the crucifixion of the Messiah. People going, huh, gay.
But I guess there has to be people like that, because if there wasn't, there wouldn't be anything significant in people that don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, it has to be like right. It's just, you know, it's just the downs to the ups, so to speak.
I don't know who those people are in advance. Like, I've been so wrong about people. I've looked at people. I think it's not just that my judgment is bad about that sort of thing, or maybe it's just impossible to judge. But like my prejudices about people stop me and going like, huh, wait, go on, tell me more about this. Being actually curious, have been so off base so many times. People that I thought would just be super close-minded and super like you. So
yeah. Well, that's not judging the book by its cover, though. That's not judging the book by its cover. That's different from getting a response from somebody and being able to tell what they're all about. You know, it's different because obviously we never should judge. Go ahead.
There's a middle ground between the NPC sort of nihilism thing. Like some people are just robot people. They're not real humans. They don't have souls, and everyone has a chance to figure it out. Everyone can figure it out. We just need to tell them the right way. We just need to walk there and hold their hands through a certain process. The middle ground is that you don't know who anyone is until you give them the opportunity to be the person to make the decision. And it's our duty to give people the opportunity to make the decision as to who they'll be. Because an NPC is as an NPC chooses to be.
Exactly. Yeah, and like I said, if there's I don't know if there's anyone watching still, but if there is anyone out there, like, please, like, for the love of God, man, like, this truth is so important, and we need more people out there on the streets. And I you know, honestly, like, it's like, okay, you don't want to do it, fine. Like, you know, another person will take your place, but it's like we really need every swinging dick out there, man. We really do. I mean, because it's like it'll either take 5 lifetimes or 1, depending on how many people decide to get in the ring and box us out with us, you know? But
yeah, maybe it's like that. I don't stress that. I don't stress about that. I want more people to do this. I want as many people as possible to do this, and I trust that Yah's gonna put out there no more than is absolutely necessary. No more, because like there, I don't think that this is going to become mainstream because I think this is people's last chance. I think that this is like, again, it's so at the end of all this, no one has an excuse. And every person who walks by and scoffs, I consider that a success because that part's done.
yeah,
That knot's sold, that knot's tied. It's complete. I want as many people to find out about the flat Earth, reject it, accept it. I don't care. I know how this ends because it's in the book.
yeah, wow. Yeah, that's a good point. It's just like, all right, that's another one we can check off the list here because, you know, it's not up to us whether they're going to believe it or not. It's only up to us to show them the information.
Yeah.
So, man. But we're dealing with such a, because there's like, I guess 50% of the population, not 50, I don't know what the number is, but so many people out there don't even believe in God. So how the hell are we going to convince them that, you know, that the earth is not a spinning ball if they don't even believe in a creator?
It can go either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I find like if you asked me 10 years ago, it would have been much less. And now it seems like a lot of people are. I don't know if it's just like my age and my age group. Like when you're in your 20s, you're just a young, dumb, and full of cum, and you just want to be all about that hedonistic life. Me personally, I don't know. Some people obviously are different, but a lot of people, it's like the way they condition us is our 20s are our free and clear years, right? Where we're just trying to figure out who we are as people and messing up 100,000 times, and yeah, you know. So, like for you personally, you probably had like the boxing thing, which is obviously really healthy and productive. But for me, it was like, you know, I was doing all sorts of really bad drugs and hanging out with all of the wrong people and in and out of really horribly toxic relationships with women. And, you know, it was all about completely destroying everything so I could like build something new on top of it all. Or not me, but the Lord could remove me from that situation and allow me to start over again. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people, it depends on their age, right? Like, you know, obviously if we try to, like I walked up to this kid on the street the other day and I posted the video. It was like a minute long. Or I just went up to him and I'm like, I gave him all the info, you know, and he was kind of laughing at first and he was talking about, how can there be only one God? If it's a flat plane, how can there be only one God? Which made absolutely no sense. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about. But
yeah, some people's process is all fucked up. I don't know what to deal with. It's like when a person starts making reasoning like that, it's like even if I persuade you that the earth is flat, your computing process is all fucked up. So I don't even know what it means to think.
Yeah, but the kid was like probably 19, 20, 21 years old at most. And I'm trying to think about when I was 19, 20, you know, I was in jail probably or in rehab or something, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's like, and now it's like, now I'm in my 30s. Tomorrow's my birthday. It's like, I feel like my whole life.
What year?
86.
86.
Yeah, I'm turning 33.
Gosh, geez,
yeah, it's a bad number. It's a bad number. Yeah, but no,
I'm 28, and
cool.
my 20s were spent being a total justice hitman, basically, and it was terrible. It was absolutely evil. I wish someone brought it. I think if someone brought the flat earth up to me, I would argue with them.
And think you're right.
I would, but if someone said, there's so many things about my life that I question.
and they just throw question marks, and then it's left open.
Right.
Okay, someone else gets it. Like the moon phases and the axial tilt, the spin, the plow, water being flat, all those things ran fine. Someone brought all of those up in quick succession in the argument. I would concede that they've had a point. When I think that the earth is flat, but I say, you got to hang out again. I want to keep talking about it and let this person with their evidence. Because that's the sort of person that I am.
Right.
Oh, but that said, I was a strict atheist, but my atheism wasn't a priori. I was an atheist that thought I was a Muslim. There's a girl, she was queer, lesbian, and identifying atheist. Entirely, I think she was at Catholic school. But I turned her on to flat Earth, and then in my ministry, and she messaged me today saying that she's preparing this writing, I don't know how to put this, like testimony to post to her, because she's still surrounded, like her Facebook is all these like people, and like one of them's like a transgender invert type, genderqueer person teaching children how to be genderqueer. But she's making a post to articulate that she's no longer into that stuff, and explaining like how she fell into that world, and that the only way out is the Most High. But she wouldn't have. Well, I don't know what would have happened, but she didn't come into the acceptance of the existence of God until she came to the acceptance of the earth being flat. So it goes both ways. I had to accept the existence. I'm not sure if I had to, but I did accept the existence of God and Jesus Christ and the truth of the Bible to varying degrees before I accepted the flat earth. But I've seen it go both ways. And I've seen it go both ways, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, like I said, it's where you at in your life, spiritually, emotionally, physically, whatever, to makes you receptive to this information to actually like really be like, damn, you get that hook in you and you're like, wow, I really got to look into this. So I don't know, like, because there's young people that can get it too, right? Like, I'm not just trying to have like this like arguing from a position of age authority or whatever. I'm older than you, so therefore I'm smarter, or I've been through that, because obviously somebody who's in their 50s like Marilyn could be like, well, you're a stupid idiot compared to me, you don't know anything compared to me. So, but yeah, it's a huge part is like, where are you at in your life? And I don't. A part of me doesn't think it's fair.
Sorry, I missed some of that.
Oh, sorry. It's a huge part of where you're at in your life, but I don't think it's fair that we should necessarily be like write somebody off because they're just some dumb kid and they're just a troll or they're an NPC or whatever. They're not gonna get it because I wouldn't have gotten it if I was their age at that point in my life either. So it's like, I don't know, it's kind of this weird, tricky situation where we have to just let it go, right? And be like, we have to just give them the message, and just, if they don't want to hear it, that's fine, we just move on. But
people at every stage of their life, men, women, babies, children, everybody.
Yeah.
So, that's up to me.
Yeah, so that's why I feel like kind of like, we definitely could be in the end, like the very end, like maybe like 7 years to go, like we're in the tribulation, kind of. But I also feel like it just could go on for another 150 years.
It could. I'm just curious as to what that, what do we get like bestiality booths where we get to that are advertised to children for kids to say, hey, come have sexual intercourse with your choice animal. What's the next? But like we'll also have 30% of the population thinks the earth is flat. It can only go up, I guess, apocalypse, or 10% of the population finds out the Earth is not a spinning ball. And then a lot of astronauts, masons, and dudes get strung up by their organs on lampposts throughout the major cities of the world. And then what happens after that? Flat Earth utopia? I don't know. I don't think that's likely. That whole line of outcomes, I don't see it.
Yeah, no, man. It'll be just like the Bolshevik Revolution, where as soon as we kick out the Tsar, we become the new asshole on the block, and you know.
We can't establish a king. There's no divine right kings anymore.
Right.
So everyone, the flat Earth revolution, everyone believes in God, and all the most difficult time, we just sit there and wait for the Messiah, and that's utopia. Well, there's no need for us to come back to the world, then.
I don't know. Yeah, and then we can create or have heaven on earth, kind of, so to speak, where everyone believes in God and everyone is beholden to Him and is accountable to Him and whatever.
And doesn't have to pay taxes. Whatever. Yeah, it's not that. It can't die.
Yeah. What if like the whole end times is necessarily gonna be completely like a man-made kind of thing, you know? It's like a man-made drive, a man-made movement, a man-made mechanism to arrive at this end of the world kind of day or whatever, and that was God all along working through His creation to bring about His kingdom on earth. So
these Masons and Rothschild people and all these, they're involved in something they call the Great Work. And according to my understanding of the way the underworld works is that if you suck, you go if you're good, you go to Abraham's bosom for a wage. And if you're kind of a douche, you end up in the less pleasant part of Sheol, where things are very cold and brown. It's not really heat. You'd rather be in the better part.
Yeah, did you catch Owen Benjamin's thing on Dante the other day? Because he was talking exactly about this.
No.
He was talking about.
I did.
Yeah, he was talking about Dante's Inferno. He was talking about Dante. No, okay.
Sorry, he's talking about that. I'm not talking about Dante's Inferno, though.
Oh, okay.
In Dante's Inferno, people who go to heaven or different layers of hell.
Right, that's what you're kind of describing, was like different kind of layers of comfort in hell, and then obviously the last, deepest, most, deepest part of hell is reserved for the worst kind of people to wait for the judgment.
For traitors.
Right. Joe Rogan's.
Joe Rogan's. Okay, so
the Jew.
Yeah. What was I trying to say? Oh, Dante's Inferno is. Can I get the again? Can I? Dante's Inferno is a sort of elaboration of the two sort of sides of Sheol, which include Abraham's bosom and not Abraham's bosom. And so
Abraham's bosom and Abraham's asshole.
What? What's up?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just said, yeah, his bosom and his asshole.
Yeah. So if you're all these people, whether you're in Abraham's bosom or the nether region of Sheol, you're awaiting judgment, and then you either end up in the kingdom or your soul or being or whatever is destroyed in the fires that burn forever. But you don't burn forever, but the fires. Anyway, so these people, if you're an evil guy and you're in a family of intergenerational Satanists who are eventually going into the shitty part of Sheol, you want to bring about the end times because you want to have a good time. But you also want to bring about the end times so that your ancestors, souls, the spirits, and whatever that are you're paying homage to, you don't have to suffer forever. Like you can only live 100 years. So have fun and also bring about the end times so that they can get out of the shitty part of Sheol.
Ah, I see what you're saying. That makes sense. That really does. But what if what if they? It also would make sense that it's like, well, they're already there, so let them just rot. I'm here, so let me try to live as much as I can, and let me try and cheat death by not bringing about the end, but bringing about this new system where I can plug my consciousness into the matrix and live forever and be my own god of my own universe and whatever. So I think that's what they're deceived by. They're just completely buying into this the same lie from the Garden of Eden, is that you will be like God as long as you do is what I say. And I also feel like when it comes to like people like Aleister Crowley especially, his whole mindset was to be the best asshole that he could be, you know what I mean? Or that he could be the most evil that he could be. He wanted to be Satan's chief executor. He wanted to be, CEO of Satan Incorporated. So that way, that when he did go to hell, he wouldn't be tortured, but he would be the one doing the torturing as like some chief agent. You know what I mean? So I think it is, but it's like they know that they have no chance to be, or they think they have no chance to be good because they don't believe in redemption through the cross. So therefore they think, oh, well, I'm going to hell anyways. I might as well be so wicked and evil that I can maybe have a chance of moving up the hierarchy in hell and being like, a head honcho in hell, as opposed to being one of the lowlifes who are just being tortured nonstop. So I feel like that's exactly. Thank you. You summarized that perfectly. So I feel like that's a big reason why they're doing what they're doing, is because they feel like they don't have a chance in heaven, and they don't want to either, because no liars, no adulterers, no idolaters, no drunkards or anything will inherit the kingdom of God, right? So if you don't repent from your sins, which is something I've really been struggling with on a personal level myself. But if you don't repent, you're not going to make it, right? That's basically the message. But it's also like this message of grace, whereas it doesn't matter that you're a sinner. God died for you on the cross no matter what. So just accept the gift and you're in. But a lot of them feel like, oh, man, I don't want to do that because it's all I've ever known is my sins, right? So all I've ever known is my sins and how to be a wicked bastard. And I'm not getting into heaven, so I might as well just be the best wicked bastard that I could possibly be. It's so sick and twisted, but I feel like
I think that's the general philosophy. I think, that's philosophy for most people who are in that wicked stuff. I think even all the way up down, even up to the celebrities and the actors and the politicians. But when it gets to the bloodline people, I think the bloodline people it's much less just hedonistic for them. I don't think it's just like, well, fuck it. I think they are into bringing about a very specific kind of world, whether they quote unquote enjoy it or not.
Right, like the bloodline people they've already have their reservation. So it's not about trying to get a better reservation, it's just trying to push the agenda through and get it done, because that's your family. And I get it, man. Listen, like, I get it. Like, it's like, if that's who you are, if that's what you were born into, and like, yeah, I'm not condoning it, like, you should definitely try and get the hell out of that situation, because you can. It's never too late to be redeemed, unless you're dead. But who knows even then? We don't know. But we can only go on what our foundations are, our foundational truths are. And that's obviously for me and you, I think, as well, the Bible. But not to make it a religious thing, it's these people, I don't know. Do you believe that there are people that are just born out of the kingdom of darkness and people that are born children of God, no matter what? Like, that's how they were born. Like, they're born before they were born on earth, they were children of God, or before they were born on earth, they were children of the devil. What do you think about that?
I'm certain there's an answer. However, I thought about it. I'm not going to pull it towards you and contemplate a long time. Just so deep, I don't want to. I think a lot of smart people debated about this one, and there have been, and it's just a repackaging of the free will question, and there is a right answer, and there's a wrong answer. Either way, I have to act as if. I mean, either way, I don't know each individual whether, let's say, if they're born to die, or if they're born to wake up. I don't know about that individual, but I know I have my job is to tell them. My job is to tell them, and they do what they will. So whether they're born to die or not, it's my job to tell them.
Right, like somebody who was necessarily, let's just go along with the analogy for a second. Somebody who was necessarily born from the darkness or whatever as a child of the devil, they can still obviously be saved and come to know salvation and everything in eternal life. Or somebody is a child of God, they can completely mess that up and fall into Satan's hands.
Maybe.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's not something that causes me discipline.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, it has to be one or the other, and I don't know which one it is, but I do know that what is given to me to do, and whether or not I know the answer to that question, is to tell them the truth.
Actually, yeah, I think I thought about it some more. I think we are all children of God, and that nobody is, well, originally, like before the fall, right? And Dean Odell actually did a really great video on this. He was basically saying that there is a history before Adam and Eve were created. It's like God created the heavens and the earth, and then a few thousand years passed where that allowed Satan to rebel and all the fallen angels to rebel and be kicked out of heaven. And that all happens before Adam was created. So there seems to be this gap or this time period in creation where there might have been like an angel a kingdom for the angels on earth, or there might have been some kind of creation where it was just ethereal spirit beings and no material beings, and Adam was the first material being. But yeah, I really do feel like before the fall, we were all children of God, and that nobody, not one single person is of the darkness or born of the devil or whatever. I think we're all born of God, and we make that choice not to go back to him. It's like we're all prodigal sons, but some of us don't make it back. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, man. How you doing on time? You thinking about getting out of here soon? I wanted to play something.
I have all the time in the world.
Yeah. Just want to play the beginning of this video because it's hilarious too. I think you're going to enjoy it. You ready? You ready?
Today we're going to look at the subject of atheism. Now, atheism, according to the dictionary, is the belief that there is no God. According to TV Guide, 96% of Americans believe in God's existence. That leaves 4% that don't, which means there's something like 10 million atheists in the United States. Although the atheistic group called Freedom from Religion Incorporated believes there's 20 million, not 10 million. But what's a 10 million exaggeration when you've got no one to answer to? It's said that Mussolini, the Italian dictator, in his youth, stood on a high pinnacle, lifted his fist to the sky and said, "God, if you're there, strike me dead." And when God didn't bow to the dictates of Mussolini, Mussolini then concluded there was no God. God, however, did answer his prayer sometime later. And if you know anything about the death of Mussolini, you'll understand that God is able to do exceeding abundantly, far above all that we ask or think. Now let's look at Romans 1, verse 18.
Can you hear it good?
I can.
It says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold or suppress the truth in unrighteousness. Because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it unto them." So there's a twofold witness for humanity. That which may be known of God is manifest in them. Each of us have a conscience. The word conscience means with knowledge. Con means with. Science means knowledge. God has given light to every man. I remember in my surfing days, I was following a car that had a bumper sticker on that said God first. And I looked at that sticker and I thought, I can't wait to get out of here. So I just overtook that car as quick as I could. I had no Christian upbringing whatsoever. And yet I knew in my heart that I was running from God, that God should be first. Romans 2:15 says, which show the work of the law written in their hearts, their conscience bearing witness, the thoughts meanwhile accusing or else excusing one another. My conscience told me I was not right with God. So that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has shown it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even as eternal power and Godhead, so they are without excuse. So God's wrath abides upon humanity, upon those who suppress the truth and unrighteousness, because of the fact that they have a knowledge of God within them, and they see of God's existence around them through God's creation. Now, with that thought in mind, by way of introduction, I would like to share with you a theory of mine. It's a very interesting, intellectual, thought-provoking theory, so gird up the loins of your mind and listen, because I'm going to share with you my theory of where I believe the Coca-Cola can may have come from.
You ready?
Billions of years ago, there was this massive explosion in space. Nobody knows what caused the explosion. It just happened. And from this explosion issued this massive rock. And on the top of this rock was trapped this sweet, brown, bubbly liquid. And over millions of years, aluminum crept up around inside this liquid. Each side formed itself into a can, then a lid, and then a tab. And then millions of years later, white paint and red paint fell from the sky and formed itself into the words Coca-Cola Classic, 12 fluid ounces. You say, man, what are you doing? You're insulting my intellect. And so I am. You know, if the Coca-Cola can is designed, there must be a designer. If it's made, there must be a maker. To believe this happened by accident is to move into an intellectual free zone. Behold, the atheist's nightmare. Now, if you study a well-made banana, you will find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, there are 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side are 3 grooves. On the close side, 2 grooves. The banana and the hand are perfectly made, one for the other. As you study the banana, you will find its maker has made its surface with a non-slip surface. It will not slip out of your hand. It has outward indicators of inward contents: green, too early; yellow, just right; black, too late. As you follow the banana to the top, you will find at the top, as the makers of the Coca-Cola can have placed a tab at the top for ease of entry, so the maker of the banana at the top has placed a tab. When you pull the tab, the contents do not squirt in your face. Now, as with your pad paper, you'll find the makers have put perforations at the top so that it comes out easily. So the maker of the banana has made it with perforations, usually 4 perforations, and notice how gracefully the wrapper sits over the human hand. Also notice that the wrapper is biodegradable.
What? Okay. What?
So I found it funny, and then something hit me, and it made me quite discontent.
That made you what?
Something hit me, and it made me quite discontent.
Okay.
This guy is on a podium. He has an audience of 500 people. And he's proving that God is really using a banana. Cool. Yeah. That doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
You can laugh at it, but you're an atheist worst.
You're a what?
You could laugh and have fun with it if you're an atheist or a Christian. It's fun for the whole family.
Okay.
Though, if any of us presented a pastor with page 1 of the Bible and the factual definition of learning that, hey, preach this to prove the existence of God, he would say, "Oh, come, buddy. Oh, no, we just can't do that. We have a banana." What the hell? This is the gorilla with the fake. This is the gorilla with this whole thing. Like, why are all the churches the little and Irish Baptist church one black? Why is it 3 or 4 out of millions of churches, which are, if you want people to wake up to this, that's the battleground. Like, you want to move people, you want to move 100 people in one move, get one pastor, hey, it's the serious flag, because the Bible says so. Just do that, just follow the Bible, page 1, just do that. 3 out of millions say yes, meaning 900,000, 999,907 said no. We're not doing that. What is going on there? What is the fruit of the Spirit? If you have the fruit of the Spirit and you can't teach your flock page 1 because your flock won't believe you, what's that? How does that factor in? How do you think about that?
Yeah, man, I totally agree. In fact, I think at one point, I don't know if it was this video, but it might be. There was the pastor was talking, and then he made like some casual reference to, you know, outer space or the galaxy or whatever. And I'm thinking, man, you don't know how wrong you are, buddy. But that's the thing, man. That's like we've all grew up indoctrinated by this globe. So, of course, everyone's going to think it's ridiculous at first. But then you give them a chance, you present the information, you show them all the Bible verses and point out the fact that, hey, there's no Bible verses to support a heliocentric model. Like, I bet if you brought that up to this guy, he'd be like, man, I never even thought about that. You know what I mean? So, what?
Have you ever brought these things up?
No. I haven't. I tried a couple of churches in my area, and I was not in love with the preaching. It was like a bunch of dinosaurs, you know, like just warming a pew. Like it just. Yeah, he probably, God knows, he was probably a Mason. I would not be surprised if most local pastors are in the fraternity. I would not be surprised one bit, not at all.
This is serious consideration because you have, let's say this country is 50% massive illegal. Let's say this country is 30% Bible. People who claim to believe the Bible.
Okay.
If you help even, if the goal of these churches was to get people to believe the Bible and live according to the truth and prove all things, give people wisdom, doctrines, Christ, all that stuff, fight for the truth, writ large. They're failing massive. And it's not that they don't know what the scripture says. It's not that they haven't read the first reading of the Bible.
Yeah.
It's not that. So these people have the Holy Spirit. If you're saved, you have the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit
leads you into all truth. Yeah, he leads you into all truth. Right.
Now, what is the truth that is leading these Christians to believe in abortion and believe not in abortion? What is the Spirit? What truth is it leading them to? What makes them different? Okay, maybe they're not doing it as small as the Testament. What makes them maybe they're only, collating the genetic only been collated now in the past years and whatever the hell. Like, what makes them different than the human?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think God just shakes his head, man. I think he just goes, you know, like at all of us, like, you know, I can't even pretend like I've never done anything stupid or non-Christian, or even like before, especially before I, you know, came into flat earth and accepted Jesus, obviously, but, even after that, like, I'm not, like, I still messed up and I still make mistakes and I still sin on a regular basis. So it's like God's shaking his head at that. What?
You feel bad.
Oh yeah.
You know it's wrong.
I mean, I'm trying.
It's not even if you let's say it's 3 a.m. and you end up, you know, whatever, doing something that you wouldn't be proud of.
Right.
And you feel bad about it. You know damn well that's bad.
Yeah.
But someone comes up to you and says, hey, the Bible says you shouldn't do that. And you're not going to go, no, that's not what. You're not going to go, no, I can do it. You're crazy. Get that.
Yeah.
So those are two different habits.
Or
God doesn't care. That's not important.
Well,
Yeah.
That's different. That's a different issue.
Someone within an entire institution across the world supposedly representative of the book and God representative, depicted in this book, all saying, page 1, don't bring that in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, then again, it's not a salvational issue. I mean, it's important. Yeah, absolutely. I think, and it does lead a lot of non-believers to Christ, and even a lot of believers, it reignites the fire in their heart for God. So, yeah, definitely. But, I don't know, man. It's like, it's not a salvational issue, so I don't think we could, like, we can laugh and be like, shake our heads and be like, oh, you silly, you know, you silly bastard, you, like, oh, but it's okay, I love you, and you're not, it's not like, you know, you're going to hell because you still think the earth's a globe, you know. But if I can't if I can't get my sin under control, then that is a salvational issue, you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to advocate for these people.
The thing is, they can't get the sin under control.
You're right, yeah, because they don't even feel guilty about it.
They have no desire to know. It's not that they don't think it's sin.
The ignorance.
And the pastors must know.
Yeah.
The pastors must. Some people.
Yeah, if you've gone to seminary school and you've studied the Bible like as your job, like, then yeah, I don't know how anyone can stare at Genesis and not see a flat Earth. I don't know how anyone could. Like even when I used to read the Bible before I came into flat Earth, I always got hung up on Genesis, man. Right? Did you? Like, I always like, yeah, like people just breeze right past this whole firmament thing. But I was like, wait a second, what the hell is a firmament? And I even remember looking it up, and the definition I got at that time was, oh, it's just another way to say the sky. That's all I got. I didn't get any solid dome references or any, you know, rakia or nothing like that back then. So, but yeah, so you make a good point with that. It's like, how can anyone, especially studying the Bible, not ever realize this? But then again, it's not like a salvational issue, you know. But like you also said, they're so dead to, they're so like unaware of their sins, but ignorance is not a sin. I mean, that's a Gnostic ideal. Like, that's like a satanic idea that ignorance will lead to death, or ignorance will damn you to hell if you don't have.
So you're responsible for things you should have known.
You what?
Yahoo people responsible for things that they could have known.
Okay.
That they should have known. Like, did Adam know that by virtue of you being an apple, he was going to think about the entity being and the weird sort of poison hell that we live in now?
Yeah, no, obviously. Yeah, so that's why that's why it says Adam and Eve went to heaven. They lived a really long time. They lived like 800 years, I think, and they eventually died and went to heaven. I think it even says that in the Bible. So yeah, you're right. What are you saying?
Did Canaan know that? Hannah know that by laughing at his father being naked or whatever happened in that situation that his son would use bread. Nobody's responsible for that.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. So you can either not know something but not be responsible for it, or wait, no, you can know something. Wait, no.
If you could not know something, you could have known it if you've been diligent in thinking about it and a different topic. Or if you just consider what God's word said. You could have known that if you considered God's word. But if you did it in the absence of the knowledge of God's word, then you're responsible if you could have read it.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So it's like basically when a cop pulls you over and says ignorance is not an excuse for breaking the law, and you know the signs are clearly marked, you just missed it, right? So therefore,
right. The Pharisees could have known that the Messiah was that Jesus was the Messiah, because if they believed Moses, they would believe him.
right.
You have to believe, they didn't know he was the Messiah, but they just didn't believe he was. Have faith that he was. But they didn't believe Moses, so there's sins.
Yeah. The Jews.
Just because they're like, oh, I was just too brainwashed to know. You're being brainwashed to possibly the most powerful evangelical tool in these desperate times, being suppressed. Most importantly, it needs to be spread within the ministry.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. They're suppressing it, but it's still getting out no matter what, and that's the beautiful thing. Did you know that Alex Jones referenced Dean Odell on Joe Rogan's podcast? Like, that's crazy. Like, that's the amount of reach that video or that whatever he did that Alex Jones saw has to, it's getting out there. They can't stop it. The truth is getting out there no matter what. Whereas you get like somebody who was completely in on everything, referencing, one of the only good guys left in the whole movement. So it's they can't stop it. They can't. They can slow it down. But, ultimately God's in control, right? Even Satan has to take his march, he has to follow the rules, so to speak, and he knows God's really in control.
As a question, you save people willfully get in the way of the spreading of biblical in an organized path.
Yeah. Like, I was in Fury in Philly, and this Christian group came out and started bullhorning and messing up our whole protest with their protest, and they were kind of making us look. They were making it look like we were making them look stupid, but in reality, they were really making us look stupid by them just being there. And I think obviously, Marilyn thinks that was a paid shill group or whatever. Like the Philly Police Department just brings these people in whenever they have to handle something like that, like a unique situation like that.
We had that in Arizona.
You had what?
We have those in Arizona.
What?
Paid shill, fake churches, and fake organizations.
Are you serious?
That go out and represent
like crisis actors, basically.
Yeah, crisis actors.
Wow. Yeah.
You're really participatory churches. And then they'll just take on whatever cause is supposed to represent.
Man. So yeah, to answer your question, no, I don't really think a lot of genuinely saved people are getting in the way. I think it's a lot of them are just dead asleep, and there are these more vocally loud people out there who are making it look like these other oblivious Christians are hindering our, the spreading of the truth. When in reality, they're asleep. They're just these groups.
Or threaten my behalf, or
more slowly ostracized.
Yeah. Yeah, like I'll be honest, I didn't, when I went to that church a couple of times when I was trying out these churches in my area, I didn't have the balls at that point to go up to my past. I mean, I went up to a couple of people, like, a couple of friendly people that I had known, and I told them about it, because I'm much better one-on-one anyways, but I didn't have the balls to go and tell my pastor at that time. No way. No way. Because, huh?
How none of that's all of these behaviors on their part are the opposite of what was written to be the gifts of the Holy Spirit. How can the Holy Spirit lead someone to do a house divided against itself and not stand? And for the past 1,500 years or so, Christendom has gotten further and further into the heliocentric model and this way of existence that means materialistic, secular society is almost indistinguishable from, I think, 70% of Christendom.
Yeah.
So, at what point did this? What is the nature of this? If the church is in support of the truth and the house divided against itself cannot stand, why has the church been such an enemy of truth or a failure to be an ally of truth for the past 1,500 years?
It's a great point. The best I can say is that the Roman Catholic Church is the reason, because they've pretty much had the reins, and they give us our impression of Christians worldwide, is because there's so much more Roman Catholics all over the world than there are normal, non-denominational, just Bible-believing Christians. So I think it's really a...
Denominational too.
Huh?
I'm talking about the non-denominational. I haven't gone to the Catholic Church about this. I think that's a waste of time.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
I've seen churches. They're proselytizing.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Baptists, they'll all laugh in your face just as much as anyone else will. So
The difference between churches and academics is that the churches have people who might have some sense of integrity in them. So I think that's the second kind of activism. It really should be the first kind of balls to go there first.
What? Trying to remind people to have integrity?
At the church, activism.
You broke up. Say that again?
To do flat earth activism in front of the church is actually, however,
yeah. Well, that's something that not a lot of people are really doing. I think Nathan Roberts for a little bit was kind of doing like some.
That's genius.
Yeah, he was holding signs outside of mega churches and other just whatever denominational churches. So yeah, and he even got that one guy from Cali to come out, Alan Spencer from Flattening Atheism, shout out, to come out and help him. So yeah, dude, I totally think that you're onto something as far as maybe that's the new place to go. But here's the way I look at it, though. It's like they're already saved. So it's like my mission should be to necessarily, just hit the streets and get that average atheist, deterministic materialist, and get them in my targets and really try to question why they believe what they believe.
So, was Job saved? Judas.
No.
Did the apostles say he was saved?
Did the apostles say he was saved?
I think he was saved prior to the declaration.
Oh, yeah. Obviously.
I'm saying I don't know if he's saved.
As far as who's a traitor?
the Pope. The Pope says he believes in Jesus, but obviously he's a Catholic, so he's. I think it's conceivable that there is a pastor of a church somewhere who is actually a pretty incarnate Satanist and claims to be saved, and I have no basis upon which to argue that he isn't saved, but he isn't saved. So I'm saying just because a group of people are inside four walls, who thinks that would be a podium or that? That doesn't mean that.
Yeah, they could obviously just be one of those jerks who goes to church to feel holier, and then they go the rest of the week they're gambling and cheating on their wives or embezzling money at work. Huh?
Or not believing the Bible in the first place.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. That's true.
So the assumption that the people at the church are saved already.
Oh yeah, especially those mega churches, bro. Like absolutely, I'm 100% on board. I'm actually thinking that's a really, really good idea, and I should start, looking to find some mega churches in my area and just kind of do what Nathan Roberts did, and just get out there with a sign and just hand them out to cars going in the parking lot or whatever like that, or. Obviously, because they're not going to let you on the premises. Right. You with your whack job sign and with your can-do attitude.
But there are in churches, there are many people who are people with integrity, conviction, and the Holy Spirit who will hear you. And those who are the targets.
Yeah, they're the ones
who have the ability to affect the church.
They're the ones who deserve to know, and those are the ambassadors and leaders of their church that'll go back to the church. And and share the information with them. Absolutely.
So I've been starting to question the assumption that, okay, well, those people. I used to have that belief too. It was like, okay, well, I could do this activism in church, but that's like a sacred thing. Things are already kosher there. Everything's fine. But on contemplation, I don't think that's actually true.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, you're definitely right, just to what extent?
What?
I said you're definitely right, it's just to what extent, and wherever you are right about that is where we need to find these mega churches and hit those up.
I think any church every church.
Yeah, you're right. It's basically every mom and pop church has apostate Christians. I mean... But who am I to call anyone apostate? Because I still struggle with sin. I'm not perfect, so.
Well, apostasy is saying it's not doing something wrong. It's that I will endorse this wrong.
Ah, okay.
That's apostasy.
Yeah.
Or I don't care what it says.
Right.
Then apostasy, then heresy. Heresy is sin. But not all sins are heresy.
Man, it's really tough, man. Because it's like we got to pick our battles, right? We got to find out what's the most effective thing to do and what's going to be obviously generate interest and what's going to be unique and kind of offer something new. So,
there's value in thinking about atheists. I mean, that has been very fruitful in my ministry, and I think in terms of giving the church a weapon, churches are much more powerful than me as an individual. They can do anything. They can get people elected. They can pass legislation. They can create movements of cultural reunification and so on. So, and also there's a lot of responsibility there too. So my job is just to be the person to hand out the ropes to basically say, to give people the information so they can reject and demand themselves, so be it, but the churches should have this opportunity to make their call, and I gotta figure out how to do that next. That's where my mind is.
Yeah, that's a good place to be. I was thinking, since I do live in Florida, and I mean it's on the other side of it's on the other coast. I'm on the west coast of Florida, but obviously Kennedy Space Center is like it's like a golden cow, you know what I mean? It's like please come flat smack me. So so yeah, I was kind of thinking about getting some peeps together for that, and just going hitting up Kennedy Space Center, and just start small. Obviously, I don't want to get on the bullhorn right away and start like screaming at NASA. But eventually, I think if I get kicked out or whatever, I get problems, I probably would resort to doing that. But at first, I would just kind of hand out literature to people and be like, hey, free information, or if you're interested, and not try to like really, trying to piss in people's soup, so to speak, and ruin their experience. But obviously, that's what I'm there for, right? To give it to them straight. So, but yeah, I think that'll be one of my next things that I do. One of the big things. I'm obviously going to be going out and doing little small activism here and there at the beach or in Jacksonville again. So, yeah, man, I think you're on to something, and I think that obviously you didn't have any. Well, you have dinosaur museums over in Arizona, I'm sure. Like, like places to go see dinosaur fossils and stuff like that. I lost you, Box. Are you there? Hey, Box, are you there, bud? Are you there? All right, well, I guess that's it, guys. Box is gone. Hopefully he comes back. I'll give him 10 seconds to come back. If not, I'll just shut it down for the night. Thanks, everyone, for hanging in. Make sure you subscribe to Flat Earth Boxer's channel. Flat Earth Boxer, that's his name on YouTube. Make sure you check him out. He does some really awesome activism in the Arizona area. And if you're from the area, definitely... If you're from the Arizona area, definitely make sure you hit up Boxer, because I know he's trying to organize a lot of stuff in his area. And if you're in the Tampa, Florida area, or just in the Florida area in general, because I can pretty much make it to anywhere in Florida except for like Tallahassee or whatever. But yeah, hit me up if you're in the Florida area, and also. Check out Flat Earth Matters, all capital letters, Flat Earth Matters. That's Karen McNally's channel. She runs the Jacksonville Flat Earth Meetup. So yeah, we do activism in Jacksonville, Florida at the end of every month. So yeah, check out her channel, Flat Earth Matters. Check out Boxer's channel, Flat Earth Boxer. And if you're in the Arizona area, make sure you hit him up. Anyone in the Pennsylvania area, make sure you head up Marilyn Spirit Level. Check out her YouTube channel if you haven't already. She does some really great work. And also Zoom Truth. He's also in the New Jersey area. Trying to think. Oh yeah, Rob, formerly known as Rob, is in the Maryland area, and he runs the Flat Earth Maryland meetups. And let me see, George Respice Finum, RESPICE FINEM, Respice Finum. George, what's up, is in the Massachusetts area. So yeah, if you're in the Massachusetts area, hit George up, check out his channel, RESPICE FINEM, Respice Finum. Trying to think. And if you're in the Bronx, shout out to the Bronx. If you're in New York City or the Bronx area, or just in the Westchester County area, I guess. New York in general, if you're in the New York area, hit up Mario at the Peak Level 1. Just how it sounds, the Peak Level, the letter 1. And you can check out his YouTube channel, the Peak Level 1, and Flat Earth Street Warriors. he does some really good work over in the New York area. So yeah, so hit up all those people if that's where you're from. Hit me up if you're in the Tampa or the Florida area, and I'll be doing some more live streams in the future, and I'll be going out and flat smacking people and keeping up with everyone and make sure that we can kind of try and coordinate, you know, some activism or whatever, and just have a good time. This is the Flat Earth bullhorn that I have. See, it used to have a couple more Flat Earth stickers on there, but they kind of faded out. But yeah. So I go out sometimes, like I was at the Jacksonville Science Fair, and we flat smacked that with the bullhorn. So yeah. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna be shutting it down, and I hope everyone had fun. Hope everyone puts on the full armor of God, and I hope everyone just contributes in some kind of way, shape, or form, whether it's going on flatearth101.com. Shout out to Dave, who runs flatearth101.com. He also runs the YouTube channel Flat Earth 101, so you can check him out, and also go on flatearth101.com and get yourself some stickers. You can get a book of stickers for $5. That's a cup of coffee and a donut, right? So go on flatearth101.com, get yourself some stickers, get yourself some business cards, get yourself some brochures, some banners. Everything you need is on flatearth101.com. It's excellent for activism tools and just merch in general, Flat Earth merchandise. You can get a nice, some cool T-shirts. You can get banners. You can get activism tools. So yeah, hit that up. Don't be shy. Make sure you do that. If you take anything away from tonight, guys, it's go on flatearth101.com, get some activism tools, and start doing it. Start flat smacking people. You could start small, just leave some literature, you know, a couple of places. You can just, you know, leave it on, you know, convenience store, you know, desks, or you can put it, you know, you can do silent flat smacking. You can leave it in products, like product placement. Shout out to Mac. He came up with the idea of silent flat smacking. So yeah, man, there's so many ways you guys can get out there and do some activism yourself and make a difference. Because this is not going away, guys. It's, you know, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes I really do get the idea that, you know, it's healthy. Like, wait a second, is the Earth really flat? Wait, oh yeah, it is. Because now I just see this new evidence, and it just confirms everything. And don't, you know, and I'm always questioning what I know, right? So I think it's healthy to do that. But yeah, it's every single time yep, it's definitely flat. So this movement's not going away. So don't be the last person to know, and don't be the last person to get out there and try to make a difference either, because I don't know, it's important, guys. It matters. If it made a difference in your life, definitely make an effort to go out there and have it make a difference in somebody else's. So that's it for tonight. Sorry we had some technical difficulties at first, but we ironed them out a little bit. So I'll be seeing you guys next time. Peace. Okay, later, guys. Come on.